Do you want to earn with passive incomes every month? Today we are going to see the top 13 dividend stocks to buy now. Dividend stocks can be a great way to earn passive income while holding on to your stocks for the long term. So let's dive into these. But before, subscribe to never miss future videos. 13. SAP SE is one of the largest German enterprise software companies in the world that has an annual dividend of $2.08 per share, or a dividend yield of 1.73% as of 3/6. For full year 2022, one bright spot for SAP SE was its cloud business, whose sales rose 24% year over year. With a bigger cloud business, there is potential for more recurring revenue and more earnings, which could help the dividend. In terms of its dividend, SAP SE NYSE SAP has said, "Our dividend policy is to pay out at least 40% of non-IFRS profit after tax to our shareholders." 12. Morgan Stanley, NYSE, MS. Number of hedge fund holders, 55. Dividend yield as of 3/6, 3.15%. Morgan Stanley, NYSE, MS, is one of the leading investment banks on Wall Street that had full-year net revenues of $53.7 billion and net income of $11 billion for 2022. In terms of its dividend, Morgan Stanley, NYSE, MS, pays a quarterly dividend of $0.775 per share, which gives the stock a 3.15% dividend yield as of 3/6. Given the annual dividend costs around $5.1 billion, the bank has more than enough net income to cover the dividend and to potentially even raise its dividend in the future if earnings per share increases. In 2022, Morgan Stanley, NYSE, MS, also bought back $10 billion worth of shares. 11. McDonald's Corporation is a leading restaurant chain with pretty high profit margins. According to Findas.com, in fact, the company has a profit margin of 26.6%. which is higher than many other restaurant chains. One reason for the high margins is that around 93% of McDonald's Corporation, NYSE, MCD's restaurants worldwide are owned and operated by independent local business owners. With the substantial franchising, McDonald's Corporation has a high margin and fairly steady income stream, which makes it a fairly attractive dividend stock as a result. Given its relatively steady income, the company has increased its annual dividend for 46 consecutive years. 10. ASML Holding NV makes semiconductor equipment that is essential for producing the latest cutting-edge semiconductors, which are considered essential for many of today's modern technologies such as computers. Given it has an R&D advantage of at least several years over its competitors, is considered an essential company as a result. Given its importance and its growth potential, is an attractive dividend stock that has an annual dividend of $9.95 per share that could likely increase in the future. Of the 943 hedge funds in our database, 59 own shares of ASML Holding NV. At the end of Q4, 9. The Home Depot Incorporated, home improvement retailer, has raised its annual dividend for 14 straight years given earnings growth as a result of the secular growth of the home improvement retail market. Although demand has softened given a weaker housing market, analysts nevertheless see EPS growth in the future for the company. In terms of estimates, analysts expect the Home Depot Incorporated to earn $15.85 per share for FY 2024, $16.85 per share for FY 2025, and $17.65 per share for FY 2026. As of 3/6, the Home Depot Incorporated has a dividend yield of 2.8%. 8. Walmart Incorporated is one of the select companies in the S&P 500 that has raised its annual dividend for over 50 years. For Walmart Incorporated, the company has raised its annual dividend for 51 straight years, meaning the company has been able to increase its dividend return through the pandemic and even the Great Recession. One reason for the consistent dividend raises is that Walmart Incorporated has huge scale that allows it to sell many products at a cheaper price than competitors and still be profitable. As of March 6, Walmart Incorporated has a dividend yield of 1.62%. 7. Nike Incorporated ranks number 7 on our list of 13 best annual dividend stocks to buy now, given 71 hedge funds in our database owned shares of the leading apparel maker at the end of Q4. In terms of its dividend, Nike Incorporated has raised its annual dividend for 21 straight years given the company's long-term earnings growth. for fiscal 2023 second quarter, which for the company is the quarter ended November 30th, 2022, the company's sales rose 17% year-over-year to $13.3 billion. Diluted EPS was 85 cents, up 2% year-over-year. By comparison, Nike Incorporated has a quarterly dividend of 34 cents per share. 6. The Procter & Gamble Company is a leading consumer staple whose demand has weakened given higher inflation. Nevertheless, the Procter & Gamble Company will likely continue its streak of 67 straight years of annual dividend increases in FY 2023 if the company achieves its guidance. In terms of its outlook, the Procter & Gamble Company said in January 2023 that it maintained its outlook for fiscal 2023 diluted net earnings per share growth in the range of in line to up 4% versus fiscal 2022 EPS of $5.81. The company currently has an annual dividend of $3.65 per share. 5. Johnson & Johnson is a leading healthcare giant with substantial financial resources given its scale and profitability. In 2022, for instance, Johnson & Johnson deployed over $17 billion in M&A including the acquisition of Biomed, and the company also raised its annual dividend for the 60th straight year. In combination with its dividend, Johnson & Johnson returned more than $14 billion to shareholders. In terms of the future for its dividend, Johnson & Johnson said, "We know investors value our dividend, and as a part of the consumer health separation, we intend, at a minimum, to maintain that dividend." 4. JP Morgan Chase & Company ranks number 4 on our list of 13 best annual dividend stocks to buy now given 100 hedge funds in our database owned shares of the bank at the end of Q4. Although JP Morgan Chase & Company could face headwinds if the economy slows, the bank has a strong enough balance sheet that management believes could allow it to potentially begin repurchasing shares this year. With the share repurchases, JP Morgan Chase & Company's annual dividend could also increase if the economy doesn't slow too much. 3. Bank of America Corporation is one of the big 4 American banks in the United States with an annual dividend of 88 cents per share and a dividend yield of 2.58% as of March 6. In terms of its dividend, Bank of America Corporation is committed to it, as they said. The strategy hasn't changed. We've got, number 1, support our clients. We're going to, number 2, invest in our growth. Then we plan to just sustain and grow our dividend. Like JP Morgan Chase & Company, Bank of America Corporation, earnings could decline if there is an economic slowdown or recession but nevertheless has long-term growth potential. 2. Apple Incorporated is a tech giant that makes high-end smartphones and computers that has raised its annual dividend for 11 straight years. For the December quarter, Apple Incorporated's business continued to generate very strong cash flow and the company returned more than $25 billion to shareholders, including $3.8 billion in dividends and $19 billion through open market repurchases. Apple Incorporated ended the December quarter with $165 billion in cash and marketable securities. 1. Microsoft Corporation ranks number 1 on our list of 13 best annual dividend stocks to buy now given 259 hedge funds in our database owned shares of the software giant at the end of Q4. The 259 hedge funds holding shares also make Microsoft Corporation the most popular stock among hedge funds in our database as well. In addition to having strong growth potential in AI, Microsoft Corporation is also a pretty decent dividend stock given it has raised its annual dividend for 20 straight years. Subscribe to never miss future videos.